Okay, so we learned about transversals, and now let's do some problems. So there's four separate problems here, and all the lines are labeled parallel. So like this double arrow here and this double arrow here, that's telling you that this line and this line are parallel. If the lines are parallel, then we have other conclusions. Okay, so let's look at this first one. So I have 3x, 2y, and then a 5x minus 100. How am I going to relate those two? Well, I know those are linear pairs, so I know that 3x plus 2y equals 180, but that's not really helpful yet because I want to be able to solve for something, and that would be two variables and only one equation. But this guy and this guy, so I'm talking about that angle and this angle, if the lines are parallel, then I know those are congruent because those are alternate exteriors. Alternate exteriors are congruent if the lines are parallel. And I know they're parallel. Okay, so if I know those are congruent, I can set them equal to each other. So I can set 3x equal to 5x minus 100. And I add over the 100 here, 2x over there, or 3x over there to make 2x. And then I can get x equals 50. If x equals 50, then I know that this angle is 150. So then I know this angle, because it's a linear pair with this, has to be 30. But if I know that's 30, I can set 30 equal to the expression 2y, and then I can get y is 15. Okay? Again, alternate exteriors are congruent, which is why I was allowed to set them equal to each other if the lines are parallel, and I know the lines are parallel. Okay, how about this one? So I have 10a plus 20, and a 6b, and a 3b. Well, let's relate those two together. Okay, those are consecutive interiors. Consecutive interiors are supplements if the lines are parallel. And I know the lines are parallel. So I know that 6b plus 3b equals 180. So that's 9b equals 180. So that's b equals 20. So if b is 20, that means that angle is 120 degrees, and this angle is 60 degrees. Okay, so I use consecutive interiors, but I know these are vertical angles. So I know that this also has to be 120 degrees. So then I can set 120 equal to the expression 10a plus 20, and I get 100 equals 10a, and I get an a value of 10. Okay, so this one I use consecutive interiors are supplements to each other, again, if the lines are parallel. Okay, down here I have x squared plus 50, x plus 70, and 5y. Okay, so I'm talking about this angle here and this angle here. Alternate interiors are in fact congruent as long as the lines are parallel, and the lines are parallel, labeled parallel. Okay, so since I know they're congruent, I can set them equal to each other. Again, I know that x squared plus 50 has to equal x plus 70. This is a quadratic, so I'm going to move everything over here. X squared, I'm going to minus the x over, or subtract the x over, and then I'm going to subtract 70 over, and get this. Now I'm going to double bubble. I'm looking for factors of 20 that have a difference of 1, so I'm going to pick -5 and 4. And so then x equals 5, or x equals -4. Okay, we're actually going to get a couple different solutions here. So if x is 5, we'll do this in a different color. So we'll keep this color for x. If x is 5, then this is 25 plus 50, and we get that to be 75. And of course, this is also then 75. But if that's 75, then it's vertical with the 5y. So then I can know that 75 also has to equal 5y, which means y has to equal 15. Okay, now what happens if x is -4? Is that a solution? Well, -4 squared is 16. 16 plus 50 is 64. That would make it 64. 64. 16 plus 50 is 66. That was almost just ridiculous. 66, which also would make this negative 4 plus 70 is also then 66. So then in the red case, if x is negative 4, then 66 would equal 5y. And this would just be some kind of weird value. No big deal. 66 fifths. Or what is that? 13.2. Okay, so we actually get two different solutions. If x is 5, y is 15. If x is negative 4, y is 13.2, which is kind of cool. Again, sometimes when you have a quadratic equation, that's what happens. Okay, remember on that one, we used alternate interiors are congruent, given the lines are parallel, and then these two were actually vertical of each other. Okay, last one. Okay, we'll switch back to green. All right, these two angles. Well, it turns out those two angles are corresponding. And so this angle here, right, is in the top right, and then that angle there is in the top right. Corresponding angles are congruent if the lines are parallel. And again, we've done enough of, like, if-then statements. It's really, if the lines are parallel, then the angles are corresponding. I know I'm kind of writing a little bit backwards, but I'm writing the statement and then I kind of justified it. Okay, so let's set them equal to each other. 5a plus 20 equals negative 2a plus 174. So that's 7a equals 154. And so then I think, oh gosh, what is that? So 20 would 22. A looks like it would be 22. And you can check, right? If you plug 22 back into here, 5 times 22 is 110. 110 plus 20 is 130 degrees. Negative 2 times 22 is 44. Negative 44, and that is also 130. And you're like, yay, they have to make sense, right? Those have to be equal. So I tried to give you an example of each one of the transversals ideas. Okay, so here we have alternate exteriors. Here we had alternate interiors. Here we had consecutive interiors, and here we had corresponding angles. Remember, alternate exteriors are congruent, alternate interiors are congruent, corresponding are congruent, but consecutive interiors are not congruent. You can just look at them. They are not the same angle. They're supplements of each other. And again, all of these are only true if the lines are parallel. If the lines aren't parallel, then you don't know corresponding angles are congruent. You don't know, consecutive interiors are that is either. Okay? Hopefully this gave you enough examples to get you kind of started on this and reminded you of some of the words we used. The big four, right, are alternate exterior, alternate interior, corresponding, consecutive interior, and then in this, of course, we also used vertical and we used linear pair stuff. And those are still facts that we know and always will know that, angle 1 and angle 2 are vertical and they have nothing to do with the transversal. And angle 1 and angle 3 and angle 2 and angle 3 are linear pairs. They form a line, thus they're supplements. Okay.